This is what happens when taste, location, and intention align. Welcome to CASA's own personal home, located on 1 acre in Abbotsford, BC.
Hello.
Thank you so much for touring us through your spectacular home today.
Yeah.
The first thing I noticed here, obviously when I walked up to the home, was this door. Tell me about this door.
So this is a custom round door, and I always wanted a house with a round door. They're one of my favorite things. I'm all about curves and accents like this, and it was just one of those character pieces that I felt the house needed, just to break up the straight lines and to make something super interesting. And I wanted to get some visuals so I could see out and who's standing at the front door, but I didn't want full glass exposure where it feels like everyone from the street can just look in. But it is one of those character pieces that adds so much charm to this house.
So Andy, the first thing I noticed when I walked through the front door was the reclaimed timbers. Tell me about these.
Yeah, so they came from a pergola structure that I got on a farm, and I absolutely loved the texture of them, and I wanted this sort of old world flavor to it. So I had them cut down and installed in here, and I was gonna paint them out, and then when they went up, I went, you know what? I'm leaving these because they feel like a historic element that could have been, you know, the structural floor joists for the upper floor or something. So they're a special piece in here that just speaks to a little bit of history of Abbotsford.
It really does.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take a moment to talk about this great room. It's a spectacular space, and it was actually an addition to the home.
Yeah. This was a desire from the very beginning. When we bought this place, we had this side of the house that just had grass outside. And we looked at it and went, we could add a room that we could really gather in. And so we created an extra large room. This room's like 24 feet by 24 feet. Like, it's a big space. We've got 14-foot ceilings. We got lots of volume, but we also wanted to be able to gather a whole bunch of people in here, right? And so I also wanted to take in all of the views that this property has. And so for me, windows are a really big item that when you face south, you want as much natural light coming into the space. So you can see here, we've just done this massive bank of windows to take in all of the ravine, all the trees, all that south sun, and it can filter right into here. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the ceiling and the exposed beam.
Well, I didn't want to have a drywalled room. It was very, very important to me that this space wasn't just a plain white drywalled space, that it had a sense of history. I've seen this type of thing with all the planking on the walls and whatnot done a lot down in the South in the US and in like South Carolina and different things like that. And so I wanted that layer of extra texture that you see in historical type of homes. So they're made of rustic white oak, and then I paired it with this beautiful rattan fixture, and it had to be big. So often people don't go big scale enough for a room, especially of this scale. And so we did this beautiful rattan light that sort of anchors the entire space.
It's definitely a statement. Tell me about this space over here with your desk.
Yeah, so this area here, we've got an amazing view out the front. We've got a little bit of cloud today, so you can't see it, but the North Shore Mountains are straight out this direction. And so sitting here, it's just this quiet little alcove, and I wanted the glass to come down. I wanted to see the grids. I love grids in windows, and it just creates this sort of cozy spot to be able to work. And then on this side though, we've got this large bank of windows. We get all of the evening sunsets filtering in through these windows, and it is unbelievable. I tell you, golden hour is amazing because the sun just comes right into the space, warms up the whole entire room, and it's like a big hug.
I love that.
I love to sit here with a cup of tea and a book in the evenings and just relax and just rest. And we don't have a TV in this room. Very specifically, we didn't even actually create a spot for a TV. We have many other rooms that we can have TVs in, but this was mainly meant to gather people in, to have conversation and to just be quiet from sort of the busyness of everything that's going on in the world.
It feels like you've created just that. Very well done. This fireplace, I keep hearing about this fireplace. Tell me the vision behind it.
Okay, well, for me, the fireplace was super important. I wanted really large scale, so I literally found the largest unit that I possibly could. I wanted a mantle that looked like it was from France, but I couldn't actually get one from France. So I had it custom made. So what I did is I actually had the thing, I designed it all, I did all the drawings, and then I sent it off to a concrete guy that I've got that can build anything. And I told him, I said, I want it in this like warm linen color. It has to look like it comes from France. It has to look like it's crumbling. And I want it to feel old. I don't want it new and modern. And I wanted it paired with this rock. So I had this Fond du Lac stone, and it's a mixture of different sizes and shapes. I wanted it overgrouted so it felt old, like what I had seen in Europe. And then this mantle paired with it was, it worked out so well.
So moving on to the dining room, this is an incredible space. It just flows so well from our main living here. Tell me a little bit about the idea behind this space.
Okay, well, I wanted to have a central gathering spot where it was like a hub where everybody would gather. So when we redesigned this space and we opened up this whole wall here and added this great room, we configured, there used to be a dining room actually right in this space. Like, I don't even know how anyone fit a table here, it was so small. But I really wanted to sort of join these two rooms because I wanted a little bit of separation from the great room from the kitchen. I didn't want it just all open. But I wanted the dining room to be this central gathering spot that everybody could sit around as part of the action. And I'm really big on family dinners and gatherings like that, of where you can sit around and have conversation. So it is smack in the middle of everything, and that was super purposeful. The light fixture, when I bought this light fixture, it actually didn't have the lampshades on it, and I added the lampshades because the bulbs felt a little too glaring to me, and I wanted sort of that, again, historic kind of country, French country, I don't know, it's got a little bit of a modern edge to it with this square, and I love to do that. I love to play off of modern and traditional type of elements.
So moving on into the living room, we have the interior windows yet again, which ties everything in seamlessly.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this space.
Okay, well, this is our TV room. So this is the front living room, which always was the living room in the house, but I wanted to enclose it a little bit. So that's why I put the interior glass to kind of give it some architectural detailing. And then I added this like panel detail across the bottom and matched it with shiplap on the ceiling so that I kind of got this great historical detailing with some crown and whatnot in here. And then I used this really fun British wallpaper in here from Morris & Co. And I wanted, everything is very calm in the house, and I wanted something that just gave a little bit of fun for this room, right? But still, it's calm coloring and whatnot to sort of blend. And then I threw in a vintage pleated light in here, and then used woven rattan shades in this space, again, for a little bit more texture and whatnot. But this room is a great spot. I mean, our whole family sits in here in the evenings. This is where we watch TV. And then obviously we can sit here and read if we want to and look out at the mountains. It's a great, warm, cozy little spot.
So Andy, this kitchen is absolutely spectacular. The first thing I noticed when I came through is this interior window.
Yeah. I love interior windows. It's a thing that I've seen a lot in commercial and retail type of applications, and in Europe actually. And I love that it gives me a sight line, but it also gives me a bit of a sound buffer. So we opened up this wall, and that allowed me to be able to see out to the street. And or if I'm in that room, I can see to the back. So I'm all about light travel through a house.
Yes.
And so it also gives amazing visual interest. And it could you just imagine? I mean, it could be just a plain drywalled wall, but this gives you some architectural detailing.
Absolutely.
That is not the typical thing that you would see, right?
The size of this island is massive. How long is this?
Yeah, this thing is just over 9 feet. And I love it. I specifically didn't put a sink in it. That is a big debate when we're working with clients of like, should I have a sink in my island? Should I not? And we wanted it to be clean and clear. It's got a quartzite top on it, so it's a real natural stone. And then we did this like quartz around the perimeter. So I kind of wanted the perimeter to just kind of fade away and blend. And then I wanted a little bit of movement on here, but not too intense, right? But this island, I will say, we have done many parties in this house and hosted, 40, 50 people easy. And we turned this into a massive charcuterie board. Amazing. And it is so phenomenal. I mean, we just create all these layers. But because there's no sink in it, it allows us to have that complete flexibility.
Of course,
right?
The full use.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you've tied in the white oak again here.
Yeah. So this was a fun thing that I wanted to do. I didn't want to have just plain drywall in this whole room, but because of how it's configured, I couldn't do dropped beams or anything like that in the space. It just wouldn't allow proper transitions. So what we decided to do was actually open this up into the attic space. Okay. So these are actually the trusses that run across the house. They're every 2 feet. And then what we did is we created a false ceiling up inside the trusses. And then I had these white oak beams as sleeves put over top of the trusses. Wow. And it gave us an extra foot of ceiling height, right? Yes. Visually. And it grounded the entire space. Because if this was just a white drywall ceiling, it kind of would have been meh, right?
Of course.
But this feature here, it lined up perfectly over top of the island and a major, major component to this kitchen.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about this stone here.
Yeah, so this stone is the same stone that we used on the fireplace, and this is a Fond du Lac stone, over-grouted. I, again, wanted to have that old world European feel, and so I wanted copper pots. I had seen a bunch of images of this, and again, it adds a textural element to the house, right? And then I paired it with this plastered hood fan, so I got another layer of texture that's not just plain drywall. And then we just sort of paired it with all these sort of like antique type of finishes of like an antique brass. So again, I get that feeling of old.
Yes. A little bit of history and a story behind it.
And like a farmhouse sink, right? Like classic to European design. And then all the hardware is also in the antique brass, so it's going to tarnish and age well. Yeah.
Now this is a great space for morning breakfast, when you're not using the formal dining. Tell me about this eating area.
So this was always a nook in this house. So originally this entire kitchen, where you're standing, was the kitchen. It was this like peninsula U-shaped kitchen with a family room and a nook. And this is a really nice spot for, well, it sits 6 people, but it's multi-flex. Like if you didn't need this table here, you could totally turn it back into a sitting area. It's a great spot. Like literally you get all of the daytime sun in here. It's kind of like a little sunroom.
So this mudroom has a lot of texture, has a lot of detail going on, top to bottom. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so what I wanted to do in here was I wanted it to feel like wardrobes. And so we had these custom built cabinets put in here, but I didn't just want a wall of black cabinets across here. So then I brought in a vintage wardrobe and I had it painted to sort of blend in with all of the colors in here. And then we've got a closet in here so that this is all like coats, and then a full shoe closet for everything. And then did sort of this nostalgic sort of peg rail to hang the coats and whatnot. And then you throw in a rattan rug so you get more texture in the space, right?
Of course. And then the glass door.
Yeah, and I did a glass door. This is one of the things that I actually really like to do in our designs because I like to look into the garage. I also want sight lines, right? So I like to be able to see. So when the garage door is open, I can see the kids out on the street or on the driveway, and I always kind of know what's going on.
So the powder room is very important in a lot of homes. Most homes, the location is very important here. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so I specifically put a powder room. There wasn't a powder room in this house originally, and I wanted a spot for guests to be able to go so that they're not using the main like kids' bathroom, right? And so we added this in, and then I worked with the same guy who did the fireplace mantle, and I designed this custom sink. He built this whole thing for me in the perfect color, and I love it. It gives me little spaces on the sides to fold a towel or set a candle. And then I brought in this vintage light fixture from DeVol Kitchens. It comes from England, and it's a porcelain. It just feels old, and I mixed it with this sort of modern element of the sink, right?
Beautiful. And you have a skylight.
Have a skylight. Yeah, this was original to the house, and I love skylights. Again, natural light in here. I mean, I can shut all the lights off and this room is always illuminated. So I'm a big fan of skylights. And I'm a big fan of wallpaper too.
All the textures.
Grass cloth, exactly.
Love it. So we're in the primary right now, and this room in particular has a very cottage beachy feel. I love it. Tell me about it.
Well, that's what I was trying for. When we first bought this house, this room was dark brown stripes on the wall. And there were 2 tiny little windows that were against there, and the bed was actually against that wall. And I went, this room just feels so dark. It's not inspiring, it's not calming, it's not relaxing at all. And so I wanted to create an oasis for my wife and I where it was just peaceful. And so I also wanted to take in that backyard view. And so I got rid of the 2 narrow windows and put this massive 6-foot window in here. Brings in all this light again, and then I moved the bed over to the main wall just so that it was configured better in the space and you could kind of circulate all the way around. And then it really helped to anchor it underneath the light fixture. And then I did beams and more layers to the space, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
and more shiplap.
Yeah, so I planked the ceilings in here, and then I added these rustic beams in here, and I painted it all out in white. Very specifically, because if it was all done in woodwork like the other room, I wanted to do something different for one thing, but I felt like it would be too much for the space. So we have wood floor in here, but by keeping everything white and airy and fresh, you get this architectural layer to the space where it almost feels like you're in a post and beam cottage.
Mm-hmm. It flows really well.
Yeah.
And tell me about the ensuite here.
Yeah, so we reconfigured all of this because originally there was 1 door into an ensuite and then 1 door into a walk-in closet. And so we wanted to open this up so it felt like a hotel, right? I wanted to feel like we were in a boutique hotel. And so what I did, I reconfigured all this. It had one of those like little corner showers, the glass angled corner showers that you try to get in and the water sprays everywhere. And I removed all of it. I cleared it all out and we moved the closet over to gain more space in here so that I could get a really large 4x6 walk-in shower. And then it also gave us a vanity because the vanity we had before was like 4 feet. So now we have a 6.5-foot vanity. We get banks of drawers, opens up. We've got a shelf across the back to set things and whatnot. And then we put in this medicine cabinet into the wall so that all of our toiletries and everything just like nicely tuck away so it's not a disaster in the room. Of course. Want everything organized.
So tell me about the kids' bathroom here.
Well, yeah, so we added this in because this wasn't it was in a different location. And I wanted this space to feel bright and neutral because we've got boy and girl in our family, and so they both use this washroom. And so I went for this sort of gray and white theme with it. I did some, vintage knobs on here. I did a penny round floor. I had seen that, and I'm like, I love this tile. It's got movement to it, subtle colors. And then added a ticking stripe on the shower curtain, and then played with this like beadboard all the way around the room so I could get sort of a historic type of element again to this space instead of it just being in plain drywall.
So tell me a little bit about your son's room. I love the feature here that you have under the stairs.
Yeah, so this is actually, it's a little alcove that was void space. So originally it was just drywalled over. And I got in here and I went, there's no access to underneath the stairs. Like what's going on under there? We opened it up and found an entire cavity under the stairs that wasn't being used. And so we opened it up, we created a little alcove. I had the shelves put in there so that he can kind of put all of his knickknacks and things in there, and a little desk. He had his bed in under there at one point in time as well, but it's just this neat little alcove. I mean, you could throw a little sofa or a beanbag chair in there and it's kind of like this neat little reading corner, but gained usable space that was never thought about.
So we're in the 3rd bedroom now. This is a really unique bedroom because it's upstairs.
It is. So we had this space up above the garage, and it worked really well for our daughter. And she wanted this space. She was super excited about it. It's a very large room. And of course it has very interesting roof lines because it's tucked within the roof. But she's got this amazing little window seat that she can look out to the mountains. Added this fun tassel light. We'd actually had this in one of our other houses, and she loved it so much that I had to go on the hunt to find this because it was discontinued. And I found it after much hunting. But yeah, we added some planks on the ceiling in here, added wainscoting all the way around the room so it felt, again, historic. It's what I'm after. And put oak floors. We have no carpet in the house, so it's all in this oak everywhere. And then added some rattan shades for some texture in here. But she's got lots of space. I mean, there's a closet and area for dressers and a desk and a queen bed. I mean, it's a really great space.
It is. So moving down into the lower level here, we have this spectacular rec room. 9.5-foot ceilings, very light and airy and welcoming. Tell me a little bit about this space.
So we're right underneath the great room here. And so this was the addition onto the house. And we had a rec room down in the basement originally, but wanted to obviously expand that so that we could have a great gathering space for our kids, for teenagers, and be able to watch movies down here. And so again, I want lots of natural light. So we added in a full set of doors and windows. We have kind of windows all the way around. And then this room does have a decent ceiling because you step down into the space. So we purposefully did that so that the room felt even larger. It's probably 24 by 22 feet, so it's a good sized space. And then we also added in this fireplace into the room, and it gave us the perfect opportunity to add some texture in here. So again, we played off of the same stone that we have upstairs and brought it down here, so we link the two floors together.
And we have a round window. Tell me about this.
We've got a round window. So I love round windows. I put them into a lot of the houses that we design. And I wanted sort of this like little reading alcove, right? So we've got spot for books and different things. We've got this like fun light, and it comes from Europe. And then you can sort of sit here and read, grab a book, and look out of this sort of porthole window. But it's just something fun. It makes the outside look really good, but it adds this interesting feature here inside the space.
I love it. So this is a great space for kids, for hosting, for families.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So this is sort of a rec room zone. I mean, someone could have a pool table in here or ping pong table. We didn't want that. We've got this basketball hoop thing that our kids enjoy. But this space is really meant for a transitionary space out to the entertainment areas outside. So basically we put in this little wet bar here. Obviously it's for the rec room, and so the kids can come down here and grab a drink. We got this fun drink fridge, and so that's really what this is for. And then it also allows, if you're entertaining outside, people can come in, grab a drink, and it's super convenient. And then behind here we have a full mudroom and a bathroom, so that when you're outside or out at the pool, you can come in, it's a wet zone, you can hang up towels, dry everything off, or use the washroom as needed, or a change room. So it's super convenient.
And you've got this cool floor here. Tell me about the tile.
I love that floor. I love playing with black and white, and then I used a dark green planking on the walls and created, again, a little bit more of a historical type of vibe with it, and a little bit of pattern play.
So we're standing in the suite now.
Yes.
This is a great space for aging parents, extended family, Airbnb.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so we have a one-bedroom suite downstairs, and we've got it furnished and decked out because we were kind of using it for a guest suite. So whenever we've got guests that come in, they have their own bedroom, living room, kitchen. It has everything, including laundry. So it is designed for an in-law suite if you wanted to. It could be a rental accommodation, whatever. And it's nicely tucked away into sort of this back corner of the house. But it's bright. Like, we've got windows in every single room. I tried to add some really nice layers to the space as well. Some of the rooms have planking and stuff so that it doesn't just feel like you're in a basement. It really feels like a nice, luxurious getaway suite for somebody.
Mm-hmm. And it's quite a large bedroom as well.
Yeah. So we used what some people would maybe want as a living room. We used it as a bedroom. And that was purposeful in the sense that when we have guests coming and staying, I wanted a nice big king bed. It's got a closet in there. I wanted them to feel like they were in a nice retreat. And so I wanted to give them a bit more room. And so then we used the smaller room as a sitting room, just nice and cozy for people to sort of, for a couple to be in. So one of the things I wanted to tell you about the zoning on this property. So we're a 1 acre and it's an SR zone, so it's suburban residential. So it allows for a coach house. So someone could build a full coach house for family members. Like it can be a multi-generational house. So you've got a suite in the house. You could have a suite out in an outbuilding out in the yard. And we've got a big garden shed and whatnot out there as well. But it allows for complete flexibility. And there's no floor space zoning on this property.
That's unheard of.
It is, totally. Yeah, so often it's like, we're not on ALR land either. So literally someone could build a 25,000 square foot house here and there's zero restrictions.
So we're outside now, and one thing I noticed when I drove up to the home, and it has a very grand curb appeal as you approach. And tell me a little bit more about the design and the intention behind that.
Well, it was extremely intentional because we're sort of up on a hill here, and so as you drive up to the house, you really notice its street presence. And when we did the architecture for this house, I wanted to make sure that the home blended into the neighborhood because we're in an established, older neighborhood, and I wanted the house to feel like it belonged. And so this house used to, believe it or not, be blue vinyl siding, and it doesn't resemble at all what it used to be. But we did have these beautiful high-pitched roof lines, and so I wanted to incorporate that all the way through the house and play off the architecture that was here, but also make it feel like a European-influenced home that's like classic and historical.
And tell me about the landscaping you have in this area.
Yeah, so right now, obviously we're in winter so that things aren't in bloom, but this is a low lilac that actually blooms and flowers, and the smell is unbelievable in springtime as you walk up to the front door. And then we've got boxwoods, for some of the evergreen sort of hedging. And then these are snowbell hydrangeas. And although right now they just look like a whole bunch of sticks, these just fill in with these beautiful white balls that are incredible. And so this just fills all in. Actually, we have hydrangeas all throughout the yard.
Beautiful.
Because I am a big fan of white hydrangeas. So we have lots of different varieties in our plant material. And in summertime, this place is full of foliage.
So we're in the backyard now, and this is truly a spectacular oasis. Tell me a little bit about the grounds, the pool, the entertaining area.
Yeah, you bet. This backyard is one of our most favorite spots on this whole property. It is so quiet back here. It is perfect for entertaining. I mean, we have got the pool area. We've got a fiberglass saltwater pool and auto cover on it, safety cover. And then we sort of flow from here up into this entertainment spot. So we've usually got loungers and everything all around the pool and umbrellas. Like, it's just great. And it's full sun all day long.
Full resort.
Oh yeah, it's a full-on resort. And then we walk into this where we've got this pergola covered area. We've got a hot tub behind you there. And then usually this fountain is going, and it's my favorite because it just creates this wonderful resort feel with the trickle of the water. But this pergola area is amazing for entertaining because we've got a dining area and a lounge area, fully piped in with the gas fire pit and everything. And then we've got heaters up above. It gives you shelter from any of the elements. And then there's this vine up here that is usually full of leaves, and in fall it turns bright red. It's absolutely amazing. But it's a Virginia creeper, and I absolutely love it. And then we've got these sort of hydrangea topiary trees that are usually in bloom and whatnot. But this space here, it's a garden oasis, right? And it's quiet, and I love to just come out here, sit and read a book. It's
Absolutely.
fantastic.
And now you have another, kind of like a sports court back here.
Yeah, so behind the hedge here, we actually have a basketball court. It's a small with a hoop and everything, but it's a great place that the kids can go and play. So when we entertain lots of people, the kids are over there playing. Actually, the adults all end up out there too because they're all doing it together with the kids. And then, you've got this space to sort of gather in and kind of go back and forth. And then there's a grass area beyond that, and then ravine and forest.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And now tell me a little bit more about the shed here. So what can be done for future development and then what is currently here.
Yeah, so this is our garden shed where we keep a ride-on lawnmower. Our pool equipment is inside there, so we've got our heaters, and it is fully heated, and it has electricity in it, and it actually has a little loft area upstairs that you can kind of climb up into. It's about 4 feet high. Great for storage. So we use it to actually house all of our patio loungers, all of that stuff in winter, and a bunch more potted plants. But you could convert this thing into a studio if you wanted to. It's about 18 feet by 18 feet, so it's actually got some decent space in it.
Nice. This home was designed to feel good every single day. Homes like this don't come up too often. If this lifestyle speaks to you, reach out for a private tour.